So I rode this pit bike around recently, but it was still acting weird. I think it has a clutch problem and also a transmission problem. A few things that I've seen, I think this pit bike has been sitting for a little while, so my guess is that things were gummed up. If I have to take apart the top end and bottom end, then so be it, but I'm going to try to avoid doing that. So I'm going to put this back together right now and do some flushes and see if that'll fix it. So I've watched some videos on it, and most people that have transmission problems just have some problems somewhere here with things not being aligned or missing a spacer. But I can show it to you now. But it just will not go through all the gears. Nothing there. One. And that's it. And it looks like things are aligned. So I'll do some flushes and see if that'll clear it up. I'm going to try some gasoline and thin oil and let this idle and maybe rev it just a tiny bit and see if that works. If not, then I'm going to do some transmission fluid and oil. And if that still doesn't work, then I'll probably have to take it apart. So we'll see. So here's the clutch taken apart. I've never taken apart a clutch before, but this looks fine. It seemed like it was sort of engaged. It just like wouldn't let go completely, is my guess. But I took it apart, nothing's stuck together, and everything seems to be oiled fine. I'm going to put it back together right now so I can flush the motor. If I ever have to take this apart again, I'm going to get some replacement parts, so I will replace it the next time. But right now there's nothing catastrophic that's gone wrong with it. So I'm just going to see if I can install this, maybe put a good amount of oil in it so things move like they're supposed to. I haven't checked clearances or anything, but the friction plates still have friction, and the springs seem like they work. Whether or not they're strong, as strong as they should be, is we'll find out. But alright, so I'm just about to put the clutch back together, but I've moved all the weights, and those move freely. The springs, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they're strong enough, but they still feel stiff. I know you can measure clearances, but I've heard that even if they fit the clearance like they're supposed to, they can still actually not be very strong. But I'll just get some extra. Then you got the friction plates here, so it goes. So there's the friction that'll go down. Then you got this to grip onto that. So this one's the only one that's double-sided, and then that grips onto the smooth part there. Then you got that friction material going onto there, and that's how it works. And then these springs will just push it together so they don't slip. Okay, so I did a little bit more research on flushing pit bike engines, and I decided to do something else. So I'm just gonna leave this on its side like it is, with the side cover off, and fill this full of gasoline. I would like to run it, but I don't want to do that with gasoline in it because that might damage the clutch plates, and I kind of need that in it to run. I'm not too familiar with pit bikes, but the clutch is not in at all, and when I turn this, the Kickstarter, the rear wheel is moving, which I'm pretty sure is not supposed to happen, and this won't shift gears, so something's going on. But I'm going to let this sit for a while, and then put it back together, and then do some flushes and see how it goes. So this has been sitting for a little while. I don't know if you can really see, but this is completely full of gasoline. See, it's murky right there. And it is actually shifting gears. It wasn't doing this before. I just went through all the gears. Cool. So here's the pit bike. I've tried a number of different things for this, and this transmission in this is backwards. That's part of the problem. I do not understand how that happened or why. So I bought this used. Someone must have put this in backwards or upside down or something. So neutral is at the top and fourth is at the bottom, which is not how this is supposed to be. I paused the video to make a quick note. Later, after shooting this, I learned that some scooters, some 49cc mopeds, actually have an upside down shifting pattern, but I couldn't seem to find a shift pattern for the Coolster 125cc, So I don't know if it's supposed to be like this or not. And I still haven't taken apart the bottom end, so I'm not sure. And the clutch, I think it's slipping and engaging too early is part of the problems, because it's the motor runs fine and it'll rev up there, but after I get past like a quarter or half throttle, it just won't go anymore, and I think that's a slipping clutch. And so the clutch looked fine, like I said, and it's not locked up, which is what I was expecting, but the clutch springs were out of spec, and I think it's not holding it right, and maybe pushing the clutch plates further than they should be. That's my guess. So I haven't taken apart the transmission, but I've just been riding it around. I put 10W30 in it, which is a lighter oil than you're supposed to put in it, but I deliberately overfilled it, and I haven't been riding it for extended periods of time, but I have been getting those RPMs up there. So the problem might not be as bad as I was thinking, because I thought it was transmission related, though the transmission still seems backwards, which is weird. Oh, and the other thing is this front wheel wobbles. It's raining right now. I don't know if I can really show it while holding it like this, but this front wheel moves noticeably. Not just turning, but like the bearings side to side. And then the tread, they must have ridden this on the road, the previous owners. So the tread is really worn down. And the fact that it's raining right now, I can barely use this thing. It just wants to slide everywhere. This front wheel is actually fine. I later realized that the axle nut was just loose, so now it's nice and secure after I tighten that. I was having trouble finding replacement parts for this clutch, and I found some springs and plates, but I wasn't sure if they were compatible with this, so I ended up just ordering a whole new clutch, and I just got it directly from their website. It was about $60. So the new clutch for this was just delivered, and now I just gotta take the side cover off. And so there's these bolts that go all the way around it. They're 8mm, the heads. They're different lengths, so you're gonna want to take a picture and try to keep them in the same order. So otherwise you're just gonna fight with it later. And then there's some on the bottom too. Okay, so I just finished taking out all the screws, or all the bolts for the side cover. Now the next thing to do is to loosen this bolt for the Kickstarter. I don't remember what size the bolt is, but I just have an adjustable wrench here. So you loosen this, and then all you do is slide it off, and then I'll show you how to get the side cover off. I just loosened the bolt, so you just slide off of there. Now this is kind of a pain to take off. I've already drained the oil, and I used gasket maker previously, so it's going to be stuck. But how I do it is I kind of push the brake lever down, and you got to evenly slide it over the Kickstarter shaft, just like that. And then stuff is in the way, and this is just a pain no matter what you do. But I work it off like this, and then you kind of tilt it up. And there. Now that we've taken the side cover off, all you do is slide the shifter out, slide this off. Then you unscrew these four. You're going to want to use a socket so you can push in really hard. I've already messed them up a little bit just from unscrewing them. So they're soft metal, but I'll replace those later. And then behind this is the castle nut that you take off. So I just took this off. This is the old one, and I'll show you my setup. So I take this chain, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a chain wrench, and I wrap it around here, lock it in place with this vice grip on this side, and I have it resting on where the rear swing arm is, so it can press against that while this is trying to turn that way. And you just get it tight enough to where you can take the castle nut off. And here is the castle socket that I got. I started to make one, but it wasn't working out that well, so I just bought one. It's only $8. I'll leave a link in the description below for it, but highly recommend it. And that's what the nut looks like. It's kind of weird. And then I was just comparing this with the new one, So this is the old one, and see, this won't move. Oh, this new one, I just put some oil on it. This moves freely. The other ones, I think the springs just grew too much or lengthened just with use, and they stretched out. So they engage too early, but then slip on the top end. So those are just useless. Oh, there we go. And I'll just put this back together now. So here's the new clutch. And you can see, you just bend the tab in right there. And that keeps that from turning. Here's the gasket kit that I got from Amazon. This was only like $13, I think. I'll leave a link in the description below. I haven't tried it out yet, but it seems like it fits. It's supposed to fit 125cc, so we'll find out. So this is the gasket for the Kickstarter. It's super easy to change out. It looks fine, but I've heard people say that if you take the side cover off, you should replace it anyway. And I had that gasket kit, so I just popped it out with a tiny flathead, this one, and then I could just press it back in with my thumbs, so it worked out just fine. And then I have this. The gasket kit I got must have had a gasket just for the manual clutch, because it was way too big for this one. So the old one was slightly ripped, but I just put that back on with a little bit of gasket maker. You can see that leaking out. So hopefully that'll be fine as far as sealing, but... So here it is, all put back together. I'm just about to put oil in it. I'm going to leave the kill switch off and kick it a few times because it's a brand new clutch, and it doesn't have any oil in it at the moment, so I just want to work the oil around. But I tried to have a little bit of oil soak into the clutch because this is a wet clutch, obviously. But it should be fine. And the oil that I'm using is AMSOIL Dominator Racing Oil. This pit bike recommends 15W40, but I couldn't find AMSOIL 15W40, so I got 10W40, but it should be fine. I'm not sponsored by AMSOIL at all, but I looked at numbers, and they just have the best oil. It's kind of pricey, but also it lasts the longest in between oil changes, so it kind of pays for itself, and it just works the best. You don't have to get the race oil, but I've heard other people with racing mini bikes recommend it, so that's the one that I got. Here's the oil. I have 2 quarts of it, but I think the whole pit bike only takes about a quart. I think it's actually a little bit less, but I would just put a quart in. Before continuing this video, I need to give a quick shout out to the company that makes all these videos possible. vidIQ. Their software helps me choose my video ideas. I just type in what I want, and they analyze my channel and tell me what's popular and what video ideas are working, as you can see here. And they give me more information than I could ever need. It's pretty phenomenal. And the fact that it's not just any other AI, but you connect it to your channel and it gives you personalized recommendations is just amazing. There's nothing else like it. I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, this is first kick with the new clutch and the AMSOIL. Let's see how it goes. Almost.